Hello and welcome to Goblin Literature. My name is Megan, and I will be hosting you through this journey that we are hopefully going on together. Uh, this is the first episode, so what I want to do is kind of introduce myself, introduce this concept, and then hopefully you think it's great and we can all enjoy this book reading adventure together. So I love reading books. I know, very popular right now. Reading is a cool thing to do. So obviously, if you're here, you're also probably cool. Safe to assume. I really enjoy long fantasy series, but I love to discuss the long fantasy series. Sarah J. Maas, Zodiac Academy, Fourth Wing, not super long yet, but we're getting there. What's tricky is that not everyone reads at the same speed, so it's hard to have a really good discussion about it because some people are further ahead. You could accidentally find out spoilers, or want to discuss some crazy unhinged theory, but your friend already finished the book or the series, and so they know if it's true or not. Makes it a little bit tricky. So what I wanted to do was start a channel where I'm reading this series. Right now, I just started Zodiac Academy. I want to be able to read it with a group of people where we can discuss it in real time. So like you're texting your friend, that's going to be us. That's going to be watching these videos. Hey, I just got to chapter 5 and this is crazy and this is going on. It's the middle of the night and you want to discuss an unhinged theory. This is a place that you're going to go for that. So, like I said, I just started Zodiac Academy. I've been seeing it all over TikTok, all over Book Talk. Book Talk, not, the cool people call it Book Talk, not TikTok these days. And they, it's a great series. I've been trying to get my friends to read it with me. And either, it's a big commitment. It's like a bazillion books. And also, a lot of my friends read super fast. Some of my friends read slower than me. I'm kind of like a medium speed reader, and I want to be able to discuss what's going on. The coolest part about these long series is that they have crazy theories that go along with them. People have things they want to talk about. Book Talk's not super great because it's just your For You page. It's not like a live read along. So I'm hoping that this format will be helpful. I'm hoping that we can build a community like a book club, a virtual book club. I love a book club. This is just a difficult format for a book club because such long series. It's a big commitment. So if you want to read these series along with me, we're starting with Zodiac Academy, like I said. And so far, I have read chapters 1 through 10. And what I want to do is go over my thoughts. This isn't just like a book summary. Like you can just Google that. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to have some discussion, build a community, talk about what's going on in the books. So let's get into it. Zodiac Academy. Also Goblin Literature, because this is like unhinged. We're having an unhinged experience. Reading series like this is an unhinged thing to do. I love that. I want to be unhinged. I am already unhinged. So, reading these things, talking about crazy theories, getting hyped, falling in love with characters, like it's just an adventure we're on. We're going to go on this adventure. It's going to be great. You're going to have a great time. I'm going to have a great time. Even if we're the only two people, me and whoever's watching this video, nobody else ever, we're still having a great time reading. So that's where we're at. So let's get into book 1. Chapters 1 through 10. I'm going to do these as I read. That way there's no spoilers. That way I'm not like accidentally saying anything or giving any foreshadowing. Like I'm where you are. Read these, watch these as you're reading. I'm going to do them in like an impromptu ad hoc format. If something crazy happens, I'm going to make a video. If something crazy happens in every chapter, I'm going to make a video in every chapter so that you can come along with me on this adventure. If nothing happens for 20 chapters, which, spoiler alert for just this video and chapters 1 through 10, I feel like we don't have a lot going on so far. However, I wanted to start and get into it so we're not going through 80% of the book before we have a video, because that seems like not exactly the format I'm looking for. So if there is a long lull in the plot, which I'm hoping doesn't happen very often, but with a long series I feel like in the beginning it does kind of happen because they're kind of building the world and the, setting some stuff up. If it's a super long series, you got to set up a lot of stuff. That's something we can also discuss. So, chapters 1 through 10, we met the twins. We met the heirs. We've got a lot of characters. Nothing super crazy has happened. Obviously, you've read these 10 chapters. That's why you're watching this video. That's exciting because we are learning some stuff. I feel like I'm not having any unhinged reactions yet. Maybe that is an unhinged reaction. I'm really, enjoying it so far. Maybe I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought. It got a lot of hype on the book talk, Instagram, Bookstagram. You can just change any word to book and make it into a social media platform, which brings me to one of my first points, actually, unintentionally. Facebook. I feel like that's a little bit weird. But also, I feel like this book was written, as you'll see, the unhinged part of this is sometimes me all over the place. We're on an adventure. That's how adventures work. So, Facebook, kind of lame. Some of the stuff in this book is a little cliche to me so far. We've got Faybook. I've made some notes on some of the cliche stuff. Faybook being number 1. ASS Club, the Twin Stalkers Club. A little bit weird. I feel like we're forcing some of this stuff. But I also feel like this book was probably written, and I didn't double check when it was written. I'll probably do that before the next video so that I'm prepared. I feel like this is like written in like 2004. Like that's what it's giving 2004 to me. Faybook. Like, come on. It's like Facebook. Like, how hard are we trying here? But there is some interesting stuff. Obviously, these heirs sound super hot. We love like a hot vampire, werewolf, whatever, dragon. We love the hot fantasy guys. Like, that's why we're here, obviously. Like, we're not idiots. It's like a great time. So we love that. So far, obviously, we met the twins, Tori and Darcy. The problem I have when they introduce a lot of characters that are similar with similar backstories, I don't keep them straight very easily. So I don't know if anyone else is struggling with that. Let me know if you are, because maybe I'm alone in this situation and I need better note taking. If you also struggle, that will make me feel validated. So please let me know. We love validation, obviously. Tori and Darcy seem super cool. I feel like that's how all of these kind of FMCs go. We've got like girls with tragic backstories, and then, they have superpowers, and now they're in charge of everything. Again, like, I feel like that's very on brand for these. These books are not super new, so I can't say that, like, they're copying everyone else, because I feel like a lot more of these, like, FMC books, female main character, if you're newer to these types of adventures, it's, like, very predictable type of character. However, some of these books like have the same type of thing going on, but then turn out to be like totally insane. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm very excited about it. Again, these books are super recommended, so I'm not trying to read a bazillion books that are not great. But I have high hopes for this book. There's a lot of different types of magical beings. That's interesting to me. Usually we get like, vampires, werewolves, and they'll throw like something exciting in, like gargoyles. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Gargoyles out of nowhere. These people have like a lot going on. There's lists. I get nervous when there's a list, because do I need to remember everything on this list? I freaking hope not, because it's the middle of the night. I'm not in memorization mode. That's why I literally have a notepad, because I'm not memorizing all the characters. Not all the characters. Obviously, I know the characters. That's like important. But I don't know every freaking magical being in the list of like 40 magical beings that they provided. Like, that's a lot of information. Am I supposed to know what's going on? I mean, I know what's going on, but do I need to know every single one of these characters? I hope not. Every single one of these beings. It's like a lot going on. You got the main ones. Like I said, vampire, werewolf, we've got some dragons, it sounds like, we've got some other stuff, but then we've got like some really weird ones, which is always exciting because I feel like we've done vampires and werewolves, guys. Like, we have done it. If you've been here for more than 10 minutes, we've done vampires and werewolves. I'm over it. But they are leaning a little bit heavily into the vampires so far. We've got Caleb, who is a creep. All these heirs are creeps. Obviously, the girls end up with one of them. I don't know who. I have some thoughts. Maybe Caleb. He seems like he's got a lot going on. Some of these other dudes, like Max, I don't remember anything that happened with him. Hopefully nothing important, because I barely recall the dude at all. But we've got Caleb. He seems to have a lot going on. He's like claiming them for his own. Like, that's a little aggressive. You can't, I mean, I guess you can do that. Seems weird. Seems a little, inappropriate. But apparently that's totally fine. We've got Orion, the super hot teacher. He is easier to remember because he's the only super hot teacher, and he's the dude that came and got them. So, like, I can keep him straight. The 4 heirs, a little harder to keep straight. The twins, similar backstory, a little harder to keep straight. I like that they call the one blue hair, which I think is Darcy. Yes, I think it's Darcy. I'm, like, struggling. So, like I said, let me know if you're struggling too, because, like, come on, help me out here. Authors. Sometimes we need help keeping the characters straight. So I like that the one has blue hair. Orion, like I said, super hot teacher, easy to keep straight. Sounds like there's not a lot of super hot teachers. Also, like, the dude is a little bit rude. Like, these people are all very rude. It's, like, aggressive. It's unnecessary. I feel like when we get into, like, magical beings, it gets a little bit more, like, territorial. We're getting into, like, more, like, instincts, like animals, like basic instincts of, like, instead of, like, when we're humans, we're, like, supposed to be evolved above instincts, which is, like, we have these instincts. It's just like animal. It's more animalish. There's a word for this that I can't actually think of at the moment. I'm trying to remember the word. It's not coming to me. I'm sure I'll think of it this minute this video's over. Maybe I'll just, like, paste it on the screen so that we can remember the word together. Yeah. So I feel like it's that way in a lot of these types of books. Again, like, kind of a little bit predictable so far. But like I said, when you're kind of world building, I feel like a little bit of it is predictable. So I don't want to too soon say we're just so predictable. We've got nymphs, which is shocking. That's really interesting and different for sure. So we've got the hot teacher, we've got the 4 heirs, we've got the twins. We've got the 4 houses. It's kind of giving Harry Potter. They are deducting points for people doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. It's giving Harry Potter. And we'll see. Harry Potter was a great book. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. We will see how it evolves. The 4 houses, again, giving Harry Potter. We've got some Harry Potter going on. Like I said, love Harry Potter. We'll see. What else is worth really discussing? Like the city, the girls transitioning from the city to magic. Like, they need a therapist. Should they get one? Should there be, like, an on-site therapist at this place? These girls were in the city, hot teacher, stalker. The dude is, like, hot teacher, but also, like, a huge creep. Shows up. Is it okay to be creepy if you're hot? In books, apparently, yes. Which, like, I'm not against it. It's just a little concerning sometimes. You're like, yikes. So, yeah. Creep. He shows up, kidnaps them, essentially. They, like, can barely afford food. Now they're, like, in a magical land. They're super powerful, which, again, we kind of saw that coming. Like, it's not shocking. As soon as they started those tests, I was like, tell me these bitches have all 4 powers. Especially when they were like, nobody ever has all 4 powers. I'm like, seems like these twins probably do. Yeah. But, I mean, it's cool. They got to be super powerful, right? Obviously, hopefully they can figure that out, because these 4 air creepers are like, and then they're like giving Jon Snow, I don't want it. I don't want it. Like, you guys are going to be like the queens. Like, duh. I'm curious to see. That's one thing I'm curious to see. Because they're very, I don't want it. But obviously, they're probably going to become queens. That's what I would think. I would think that that maybe is the majority of people's opinion. Let me know if it's not. Maybe I'm way off base. Maybe that's a hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take. I don't know. That's why we're having this discussion, so that we can figure these things out together on an adventure. Because reading books like this is an adventure. It's all over the place. We're up, we're down. Who knows? So, yeah. I'm just curious to see what happens to the heirs. Because if the girls become queens, where do the heirs go? They can't, it's not like there's 2 heirs, 2 queens, they're just going to marry them, it'll be fine. Like, that's not what's happened. There's 4 of them. Plus, I feel like someone probably has to end up with Orion. At least for a minute. Why would he be so hot if not? Why would there be like a mega super hot teacher? Seems like it would be pointless if nobody makes out with the guy, you know, like, weird. So, I feel like there's more to talk about than I thought. Now that I'm talking, I'm saying a lot of stuff. It's a little all over the place. I hope you're following me. I hope you have at least a little bit of neurodivergence so that you can follow this wild train of thought that I'm on right now. Maybe I'll edit this to make it less insane, but that's kind of the point. Like, when I'm at book club and we're talking, it's like all over the place. We're like, what about this? What about that? Everyone's like crazy. So yeah, that's why we have a comment section, so that we can throw around all of our ideas. Maybe someone's got way more hot takes than I do right now. I have a few. That's why I'm recording this video. So the other thing that's a little bit like, ugh, is all this like compulsion. That's very much giving Vampire Diaries to me. I hope everyone's understanding all these references, because I feel like Harry Potter and Vampire Diaries are pretty straightforward for a crowd that is reading this book. But maybe you're new here and this is all new to you. And then maybe now you need to read Harry Potter and Vampire Diaries. We'll watch although I think it was based off of a book, but I've never seen that book anywhere. So it's just a great show, and everyone's hot. So it's like the same as this book. Everyone's super hot. And there's just a shitload of compulsion. Everyone's like telling people what to do. The cool thing about the book, this Zodiac Academy, is that they can fight the compulsion, but also all the Fae can do compulsion. I don't know if I've heard of it anywhere other than Vampire Diaries. I'm sure I have, and I'm forgetting. But usually, it's the vampires doing it, and doing it to humans, and it doesn't work on other vampires. But the fact that the Fae can do it to each other, and it's all the Fae, and they can all just make each other do whatever they want if they don't have, like, proper shields. Intriguing. Different. I feel like it's going to be a non-issue as soon as the girls get shields, though. And then it's like, okay, who cares? Because they're only around each other and they can all shield against it. So, like, what's the point? I feel like maybe the only point of that was so that Orion could just, like, compulsively break into their house. I don't know. It was a little weird. But we'll see. Maybe it'll get super interesting and crazy. As far as the heirs go so far, obviously they're all scumbags, but like hot, which is pretty on brand for this type of book. Like, not mad about it. I feel like we're at the point where we're supposed to start hating them, and then we can do like some enemies to lovers stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of enemies here, like I said. Like, I don't know who's going to go from enemies to lovers. I feel like so far, Caleb, Orion maybe feel like it, but like the Seth dude trying to like throw one of the twins like off a building, that was aggressive and rude. Darcy's the one that got almost thrown off the building. Like I said, why is it hard to keep them straight? Because they had the same backstory. Not the same. Tori steals bikes. Darcy, I don't know what she was doing really. She was like breaking into her old house and stealing money that was hers. Sounds like Tori's the scandalous one. But Darcy's the one with dyed hair. So that's what makes it the most confusing. If the one that was stealing bikes also had the dyed hair, I feel like that would be easier to keep track of. Also, Darcy, like, having this cryptic reason for dyeing her hair that we don't know about yet. Intrigued about that for sure. We will see how much information they give us about that soon. They keep talking about it, so it seems like we should find out, right? Like, help me, tell us what's going on. And then there was one other major thing. Well, Diego seems cool. I didn't realize what house he was in. I like don't know if they even said it in the book. I like looked it up, and he's in like Earth house, I think. I don't know. It's kind of weird that they're all like in Harry Potter. They mostly like socialize with the people in their own houses initially. So it's interesting that they're like intermixing with other houses, but it makes it harder for me to keep track. Oh, the other thing that I didn't even note that I just remembered was that freaking creepy teacher, what was he? A siren, which like we don't get a lot of sirens in these types of books. So again, intrigued. He was like feeding off their sadness. That was messed up. And then right at the end of the chapter, that all happens like right at the end of where we're at the end of chapter 10. So, yeah, that guy's creepy. I don't know if it's right at the end of chapter 10. It's like right towards where we're at. Maybe it was chapter 9. Whatever. So the point is that dude was a creep. Also, everyone in this book is a creep, now that I'm saying that. Why is everyone a creep? Even the principal is kind of a creep. Like, I think the principal's a lady, which is cool. And also, like, makes sense. She's just, like, letting people beat the shit out of each other? Like, what is going on? But it seems like that's how it works there. I guess this is just normal, and these poor girls don't have an on-site therapist to help them through this transition. They're getting mud thrown at them. They're getting bitten. They have all these superpowers. They were just poor, now they're queens. They have an ASS club stalking them. Like, get them, like, they have these little atlases, which are weird. Get them, like, some freaking therapy on that thing. Give them a therapy app. One of these, nice meditation apps. Like, they need some support from their community. Like, what is going on? They're going to have, like, a mental breakdown. I can't imagine being kidnapped. I mean, all of us, like, book people out here are like just waiting to be kidnapped by a hot fae guy, which like yeah dude, but also like they weren't just like kidnapped by a hot fae dude. Like now they're in school for something they've never learned about in their lives, and they have to have all these powers, and like they're queens. Like that's very overwhelming. They're getting like literally assaulted every freaking day. Their clothes are getting burned off. They're jumping off a building. Like damn, are you okay? Like blink twice if you need help. They have Fae book. Why don't they have like click to chat therapy sessions. They've got to have a guidance counselor at this school. What kind of a school is this? Who's paying for their tuition? Do they have tuition? They're queens. Do they just get a full ride scholarship? Like, it seems like there's a class structure. Like, their best friend Diego is maybe seems like lower in the class structure. These heirs are like, maybe they get a full ride. I don't know, man. What's going on? This is crazy. And the other thing that I noticed, something about nymphs. They're like mentioning nymphs. That's the only thing I highlighted in this whole 10 chapters. Because they just like threw the word nymph in there. It was like, well, I don't remember the exact quote I highlighted, but it's like, these girls just found out about their powers. How could they ever protect us from the nymphs or something? And I'm like, the nymphs? Where did they come from? Who are they? I feel like they're like the nymphs. That's what I feel like. Awkward wink. Yeah. So what I plan to do is if there's like some unhinged thing going on, like I want to like live react to that. Nothing unhinged has happened. So you're going to have to stay tuned for future, I'm calling it goblin mode, because goblin literature, like I'm 4'11" and I'm like reading in the dark, like curled up like a goblin. So this is like goblin literature, and then you guys will see like goblin mode, which will be great, but it will have to be like something crazy happening. Obviously, nothing crazy has happened. I kept waiting for something crazy to happen because I'm like, I want to do goblin mode, and I was like, that wasn't happening. So I'm not gonna force goblin mode. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, they're magical. That's like not goblin mode. Like obviously they're magical. Why would there be like 20 books if they weren't magical? Nobody is shocked by this. So those are all my hot takes and unhinged reactions and like goblin reading information. So if you think I missed something or you have an opinion on anything I've said, even if you think I'm like have lost my freaking mind, that's great. That's the fun of debating and conversations about books, is because it's like we're all out here having a great time. So let me know what you guys think so far. Let me know if you have any theories. My only theory is like something is going on with the nymphs, okay? Or they wouldn't have just sprinkled in the nymphs. Like come on. Like I said, I like kind of think that one of them's gonna end up with Orion, and maybe one of the heirs. I'm not sure. Which is kind of nice. I've said a couple times like, oh, that obviously they have magical powers, obviously this. But like I feel like when they do enemies to lovers in books, it's like, okay, this is the one enemy, so they're gonna fall in love with this dude. And we've got like 5 douchebags and 2 twins. So it's hard to say who's gonna end up with who, because there's 5 douchebags. Maybe they end up with all 5 of them. I don't know. That would be great. That would be crazy. I would be intrigued by that for sure. So I'm definitely interested to figure that out. If you have some hot takes on who ends up with who. Also, like there's a lot of books. Maybe they end up with one of them and then they break up with them and end up with another one. Maybe they're with all of them at the same time again. Maybe that's my dream. That's why I keep saying it. I'm like, hopefully that's just like a freaking weird fae orgy. I don't know. I haven't read a book like that yet. I would, given the opportunity. My toxic trait is that I don't believe in finding anything out about a book before I read it. And I've read some weird books because of that. But one time I read the back of a book and it told me basically the entire plot of the book I was about to read. And then I read the book and I was like, this would have been a good book if you didn't tell me the whole freaking plot before it started. So that's one of my unhinged opinions about reading. So I've read some really interesting stuff because of that strategy. So keep that in mind when I'm having these unhinged reactions. I have no context because I don't ever find out anything about a book before I read it. I just knew that this was a series that everyone on the internet told me to read, and I am easily influenced, and I really want someone to read it with, and none of my friends are reading it right now. So hopefully you're reading it with me, and now we're friends. That sounds really lame, so, bear with me while I'm being lame, apparently. So hopefully we're having a great time. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. I would love to discuss it. That's why I am here making this great video. And I will be back after a few more chapters. Hopefully something totally insane happens, although we are early on, so I will be patient. And then we can have a great discussion and continue our great discussion because we've got a lot to talk about already. Have a great day.